Well, David Williams, one of the most well-liked pros on the circuit. No doubt about it.
What a player. All right, back to this table. Michael Benvenuti from Orange County, California.
Looks down at 2 queens, big hand.
He's been tight so far. 24 years old, 6 WPT tournament in his lifetime.
He was a pre-med student at the University of Texas before he dropped out to play poker, so he's going to try to do his operating on the poker table.
Well, he's made it 220 to go. Jason out.
Action over to Noah Schwartz. He's out as well.
Yep. Justin Bieber. Excuse me. Randall Flowers also going out.
So round to the blinds. Andy Frankenberger in the small blind looks down at ace-7 of spades. You know, this guy's playing very solid, very tight, and he raised under the gun. So you give him credit for a big hand. When you do that, you fold the ace-7.
Yeah, nice lay down. And the only one still involved is Skip Wilson. And Skip has a queen 10 in the big blind.
Well,
and he's going to call it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a flop.
Skip gambling here with the queen 10. He is really up against it because he's facing 2 queens, the worst hand he could be up against.
Here's the flop.
And flop comes 10, 6, 5. Skip Wilson has flopped top pair, and Vince, this can spell doom for him.
Yeah, he probably thinks he's in front here.
Come on.
And he's going to go all in. This could be an absolute disaster. You would think it's a pretty automatic call here.
All right, I call.
And he's going to make the call.
He's going to like what he sees.
10.
So Skip Wilson in a ton of trouble here at Bellagio.
Well, the retired businessman needs some help, or he's going to be our 6th place finisher. Skip looking for a 10 to take the lead. 2 running hearts would give him a flush. Otherwise, it's tapioca pudding for Skip Wilson.
Here comes the turn card.
Oh, and there is a heart on the turn. The jack of hearts comes off. That is a good card for Skip because it gives him a flush draw. He can catch a heart or a 10 to win it.
Skip's friends and family enjoying that card and the possibilities. Here comes the river.
Well, it's a deuce of spade. So that's going to do it for the senior at the table.
Play online poker for real cash and prizes at WPT Global. Sign up for free today using bonus code YT32 and get a $1,200 deposit bonus.
Well, I don't wear nothing, Vince. I think that's against
I
the
got
dress
carried
code
away. I'm
at
sorry.
a lot of casinos, but I don't do that personally. I feel like a lot of kids these days, you know, they like to cover up, but me, I don't wear sunglasses, I don't have a hoodie, and I feel like I've controlled my tells well enough that I feel comfortable doing that.
And we go back down to the table. Ryan with ace-king, Ola with ace-9. Simon in with queen-jack as well. 3-way action. Flop is at ace-9-4. Aces and 9s for Ola. Big aces for Ryan with the king kicker.
Ola massively out-flopping Ryan, but Ryan did just call pre-flop, so the strength of his hand is disguised. You see that the 2 chip leaders don't want to get into a huge pot, and that's a big reason why Ryan decided to just flat pre-flop.
The 4 pairs the board. Ryan's got to think he's even stronger.
Yeah, this board looks so dry, really clean for a hand like ace-king.
Ola's going to bet it 77. And Ryan just going to call it. And the river card is a nothing deuce, just great for Ola with his aces and 9s. And he's going to stick out a big bet, 215.
Ryan underrepresented the strength of his hand from the beginning, just calling pre-flop, and the flush draw missed. I really don't see any possible way that he could get away from this. The fact that he's considering it is already surprising and impressive to me personally, because I would have just flicked that 1 chip in there so fast after Ola bets that river.
Well, he's taking more time. Ryan Tosick, aces and 4s with the king kicker. Hard to get away from this hand for sure. So So Ryan is going to take some more time, puts another chip in there, Maria.
You know Ola's gonna put a lot of pressure on you, especially if he feels like you have a hand like a weak ace. Ola has no idea that you have a big hand like ace king in this spot, and Ola would even value bet ace queen here and possibly ace jack. So for Ryan to possibly get away from this is too sick for me.
He is going to lay this down. Beautifully done. Wow.
I mean, especially against a player like Ola, who...
But everybody else has still got enough chips where they're going to be a force here at this final table.
To the felt we go. Eric Baldwin, only 27 years old. He quickly folds his hand, and now David Williams picks up an ace-king again.
Well, he's going to raise it up to 300,000 here.
Into the Parisian. David Benjamin, who quickly folds. The cannon going out.
Around to Billy Baxter in the big blind. He looks down at a king 10 offsuit. He's going to make the call. Right now, David Williams well out in front. It's ace king versus king 10. Oh, and a king comes right on the flop. This could spell big trouble for the Hall of Famer.
Billy is checked. David betting 350.
Both players have flopped top pair, but David Williams has a bigger kicker. He's got the ace. Billy just has the 10.
This could be devastating. He's made this call.
You see David's mom, Shirley, sweating her son out.
Wow, an ace on the turn only makes it better for David Williams. Aces and kings.
This could be a break for Billy Baxter. Yeah. I say a break because he can now get away from his two kings.
And he quickly checks it.
In case David Williams bets here, which he's going to. 500,000 is the bet.
Uh-oh.
Well, Vince, Billy Baxter just not buying the fact that David Williams has got a hand. It can be two kings right here. And he is paying the price for it.
The Southerner going deeper into the quicksand. An ace on the river only makes things even worse.
Well, it makes it worse because the more aces that come up, the less likely you think your opponent's got one.
Billy does check it.
How much are you playing, Billy?
Oh, you got a ton.
This is a disaster for poor Billy.
Million.
And 1 million is the bet by David Williams. Well, Vince, if you're Billy Baxter, if you call on the turn where I think you could have got away from this hand, chances are you might call again on the river here. Well, Billy Baxter is getting out that $1 million worth of chips. And Vince, he is going to lose a lot of chips in this pot if he makes this call.
Oh boy, he's spilling chips. This is a train wreck before our very eyes.
Well, he's going to make the call, and he's not going to like it as David Williams turns up the best hand possible. Aces full of kings. His mom Shirley going crazy here for him.
Yeah. Billy just didn't put him on that hand. Action on Marchese quickly folds this hand. The local also going out, but now William Reynolds picks up a pair of jacks.
Got a nice hand here. He's going to raise it. Makes it 11,000 to go.
Andy Whetstone out. The great Eric Seidel also not going to play, but Ali has got money in there already, and he is going to make this call with his 9-7. So William Reynolds, the milkman, with the jacks. Whoa!
Oh, what a flop! Jack 7-7. William Reynolds has jacks full.
And 3 7s for Ali.
Unfortunately for Ali, it's going to be tapioca pudding for him here. He's never going to get away from this hand. Well, both players check the flop, trying to trap the other into betting. Now an ace comes off. Ali's going to think this is a good card for him. Thinks his opponent might have ace queen, ace 10, something like that. Where he's going to get action here if he bets out.
Ali's going to bet with his 3 of a kind, 13,005.
He's going to get action all right. It's going to be a bazooka right in the head.
And the milkman going to pop it up to 36,000 with his jacks full. Ali's on a relative short stack here.
Oh, Vince, I don't see any way he's not going to go all in here. If the guy's got aces full or jacks full, that's the only hand that can beat you. And very sad for Ali, as we saw Tom Marchese fold a 7.
Come on.
Well, Ali has moved in, quickly called by William Reynolds. Woo! And that's going to do it for Ali. The high-stakes cash game player from LA is going to go out here.
To fade one out.
He's drawing dead because Marchese folded a 7.
That's right. It's over. Ali doesn't realize it now, but it is over. Tom Marchese had the 7, the 1 out left.
Nothing he can do about getting his money in there. Just wasn't meant to be for him tonight. The likable high-stakes pro from LA out tonight in 6th place. Can't do anything about that hand.
It's been nice playing with you, man.
Play online poker for real cash and prizes at WPT Global. Sign up for free today using bonus code YT32 and get a $1,200 deposit bonus.
Four-handed poker continues. Matt Hyman, the entrepreneur from San Francisco, folds his hand, and now Chino, the moderate 10-8 of clubs, will raise 125.
It's in that walking the dog chapter. They got to say sometime the dog bites you on the ankle.
Jonathan is done with an ace-jack, not going to re-raise, just calls. Eric can be allowed in because he's in the big blind, and he can slop around with the 6-4, and that's what he's going to do, hoping to catch lucky. And here is the flop. Whoa, look at this. Jack 9-8. Unbelievable straight flush draw for Chino and a pair. And of course, top pair for Wah. And Chino will bet after a couple checks, 170.
Well, I don't care if you're Phil Ivey or Mr. Magoo. You're going to get your money in with the hand Chino's got. A pair and an open-end straight flush draw.
Look at this. Jonathan not going to raise with top pair and big kicker. Eric out.
Had it been raised, we'd have seen a huge pot here, Vince.
To the turn. Will Chino hit his hand? Not there, as a 4 spades appears.
Well, Jonathan will continue into slow play, but Chino checking behind him and now hits a deuce of clubs on the river to make the flush.
That's what you got to do on the river. Get lucky. Chino has done so, and Jonathan Wah now going to play backwards. He's going to bet when he's finally beat.
What's the bet? 330?
Well, he did bet on the flop or the turn when he had top pair and top kicker. Now the flush comes out there as well as the possible straight. Chino is raising this pot. Well, that's a nice raise by Chino. I know everybody could look at the screen and say, well, he's got a flush. Of course he's going to raise it. But his opponent could have a king-eye flush or a queen-eye flush or even the nut flush possibly.
But you want a value raise because you almost have $7 million in chips. You can't go broke, Jonathan, with half that stack. So I like this raise for a value.
It's because he's Chino Ream, because he plays so many pots. He gets paid off on a lot of hands that others may not get paid off on. We just saw Eric Lindgren pay him off with 2 kings when an ace hit the board and Chino bet on the river. The same thing could happen here again as Chino hits a winning river card, and indeed it does.
Wah is Wong right there as he makes this call.
If he'd raised on the flop, Chino's going to re-raise. All the money could have gone in. He could have been broke in 4th place heading back to Canada.
Chino's going to be sick if he got raised.
That's what I was thinking the whole time. I'm like, man, Jonathan, if you're Hollywooding and ship it on me right now.
He kept pulling chips out of the...
That's the whole thing I kept thinking in my
out
head.
there. He really understands how to play, and you rarely see him ever make a real mistake.
Over $7.5 million in live tournament earnings at the ripe age of 27. That's no accident. Ace-8 for Jason Less, and he just throws it in the hijack.
Yeah, I think part of the reason Jason does that is because Brian, as the chip leader, has position on Jason. And if I'm Brian, I'm going to be putting a lot of pressure on the medium stacks, on the guys exactly like Jason Less. Somebody like Phil Locke or Noah Schwartz, who are a little shorter, they know that they have to kind of take some chances and potentially get a double up before they can cash. But someone like Jason is pretty assured to cash if he plays tight. So Brian should go after those players.
Chewie defended with pocket 5s against the pre-flop raise of Brian Rast, and look at the board. 10-9-5, 2 spades, gut shot straight flush draw for Rast, who's had the action checked to him by Chewie, who flopped a set of 5s.
Now, knowing Chewie, even though this is a very draw-heavy board, he is much more likely to just check and call than he is to check and raise. The reason he does that is because he wants to disguise the strength of his hand, he wants to allow an aggressive player like Brian to keep bluffing, and because he wants to be able to play some weaker hands in the same way, so he needs some stronger hands to offset that.
Betting a call of 95,000, and now the turn, a 3 of hearts.
Great card for Chewie. I mean, it doesn't complete any of the obvious draws on the flop.
He checks again over to Brian.
Now, Brian still has a ton of equity with his straight draw, flush draw, and overcard. And I like this bet for Brian. You'll get a lot of hands from Chewie to fold, some weak pairs, maybe some ace highs or weak draws.
Rast keeping his foot on the gas to the tune of 265,000. Chewie makes the call. Pot up to 925K. Here's the river. It's a 6. Swing and a miss for Brian Rast. And Chewie checking a 3rd time. decision time for Brian Rast. Do you wave the white flag of surrender and give up on almost $1 million in this pot, or do you fire that third barrel?
I think you have to fire if you're Brian. Obviously, that's the only way he can win the pot, but he's shown aggression throughout the hand, so he can represent a number of strong hands. We know that Chewie has a set of fives and is not going anywhere, but there's no reason to assume that. Chewie could easily have a draw that's missed or even a weak pair of nines or tens, and that'll be a very tough call for him to make given Brian's level of aggression. So I think it's a good play for Brian to bluff. We know it's not going to work, but that you can't be results-oriented in this game.
Well, Brian's making what, Olivier, you call the right decision, but something we know is going to yield the wrong outcome, at least in his mind. Betting $620,000, Andrew comfortably making the call, and 3 nickels will take the pot.
And the real question for Chewie was just whether he was going to call or raise. At this stage in the tournament, so close to getting into the money, I think it makes sense for Chewie just to call. There's no reason to take a risk that Brian happens to have a better hand. I think both players played that hand exactly how I would have.
He's still got plenty of play in his stack. Jake Schindler, King-Queen offsuit, opens the action with a raise to 2,500. Noah lays down, back around to Byron, who folds over to Jason Mercier, the local with ace-king suited. That's the real king in this pot, and rather than 3-bet, he just calls.
So yeah, we've seen this throughout the Alpha 8 tournaments, both in Season 1 and 2, players playing their big blind more passively. Since they're capping the action in heads-up pots, they tend to just call with both their strong and weak hands.
Look at this flop, though. Queen 10-6 with 2 diamonds. Mercier with 2 overs and a royal flush draw. King-Queen for Jake Schindler, the pair of queens, currently the best hand. But look at those percentages. Mercier, the favorite.
Yeah, Mercier just has a huge draw. Plus, we know that other queens have been folded, so Jake has even smaller chance of actually winning the pot.
Mercier makes the call. Betting a call of 3,800. And now the turn gives Mercier the best hand with a pair of aces. He checks again.
Staying in rhythm, letting the aggressor continue his aggression if he decides to. Jake, I think, could have legitimately bet the turn, but checking back is just fine. The ace is obviously not the #1 card he wanted to see.
And a second ace on the river, and it's not a card that Schindler actually minds. In fact, he's perhaps more comfortable seeing the second ace than he was seeing the first.
No doubt about it. Really makes it less likely for Jason to have an ace. I'm not exactly sure what Jake's thinking about, to be honest. I would have already called this bet. I can't really imagine folding here.
Yeah, Mercier bet 7,700.
Not a huge bet, really about just half the pot.
Schindler does not look comfortable.
Yeah, maybe Jake just has a live read or just a live sense for what's going on. He just feels that Jason is strong and is not sure what to do. You know, sometimes it's tough when your live sense of the situation conflicts with your theoretical understanding with what to do. Maybe that's what's going on with Jake right now.
Yeah, and Jake makes the call for 7,700 and pretty upset with himself, wearing his heart on his sleeve there. Jason Mercier picks up the pot.
Lines are 1 and 2, and here we go. Pat now with a 9-7 with the button. And he will just call again. No raise. Max, the 26-year-old poker pro with a 4 deuce of diamonds. Gonna see 3 cards. No raise here. And the flop is, wow, a 6-5-4, 2 diamonds.
What a flop. Max, pair, gut shot, flush draw, Pat, overcards, straight draw. Can't imagine that there won't be a bunch of money in the middle.
That's on Pat. He's been checked too. Oh boy, he is going to push it. He's going to push it all in.
That has been Pat's move lately, and Max, I'm sure, will be happy to gamble here.
Yeah,
He's
flush.
just like, yeah, let's go.
Pair of 4s. He turns him up. He calls.
Max is a nice favorite here to become our champion.
It's a nice hand. Good luck.
Pat looking for an 8, a 9, a 7, but no diamond.
Pat's family in the audience, hoping for a miracle. Turn card is a deuce.
Okay, just one more card to fade, and Max is going to be the champion.
Pubman in a lot of trouble. Can he catch it straight, or otherwise it's over? Max will take this championship, the local.
It's a deuce, and Max has done it! The
tremendous effort.